What if I told you the smallest coin in your pocket could secretly be one of the most powerful treasures in America right now? What if a single dime, yes, just 10 cents, could quietly turn an ordinary person into someone holding a life-changing fortune overnight? This is not fantasy. This is not a movie scene. This is happening right now in today's real United States. Coin market. Hidden in drawers, locked inside old jars, forgotten in wallets, and even mixed into everyday change. Ultra-rare Roosevelt dimes are exploding in value, and most people have no idea what they are holding. Today's video is not just a list. It is a warning, a revelation, and possibly the most important video you will ever watch if you have ever touched a dime in your life. Because one of the 10 coins you are about to see could already be sitting in your home. And when I reveal their true values, the kind of values that can rewrite your financial story, you will understand why collectors across America are quietly racing to secure these coins before the public fully wakes up. Stay with me until the end, because the last coin on this list is so rare and so valuable that even veteran collectors still struggle to believe its price. This is Rare Coin News, USA, your daily source of freshly updated treasure revelations. And now, let's begin with coin number 1. Coin number 1. Roosevelt dime, 1953, with D-gray shade, fine condition. The year was 1953. America was moving forward after war, rebuilding its economy, strengthening its identity, and quietly, inside the Denver Mint, a small silver coin was being struck that would one day shake the modern collector's market. The Roosevelt dime, introduced only a few years earlier to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, was already a symbol of resilience and recovery. But the 1953 D issue carried something no one at the time could fully predict. A tiny combination of conditions, metal behavior, and mint characteristics that would later transform certain examples into objects of extreme desire. This dime was born in an era when silver still ruled United States. Coinage, giving it weight, substance, and intrinsic power that modern coins simply do not possess. The composition of 90% silver and 10% copper gives this dime not only historical depth, but also a physical presence that seasoned collectors can feel instantly between their fingers. What makes this specific 1953 D-dime completely different from millions of others is the unmistakable gray shade that forms naturally over decades under very specific storage conditions. This is not discoloration. This is not damage. This is natural, original toning that only appears on coins that have survived time in a very particular way. It creates a soft ghost, like silver-gray skin over the surface, that tells a silent story of age survival and originality. Serious collectors chase this look relentlessly because it cannot be reproduced artificially without being detected. When this gray shade appears on a 1953 D dime that still holds strong details in fine condition, it transforms the coin from a normal vintage piece into a verified survivor of history with a premium identity. Look closely at the design and you begin to understand why this coin commands such emotional respect in the numismatic world. Roosevelt's portrait carries a calm authority, and in fine condition, the hair strands, cheek contours, and jawline still whisper sharpness through the decades. The torch on the reverse, flanked by olive and oak branches, remains a powerful symbol of liberty, peace, and strength. On Denver minted examples, the tiny D mint mark below the torch becomes a signature of origin, and in this issue, that single letter has become a gateway to elite collector status. Every microscopic feature, every remaining ridge, every gentle curve of the design contributes to its irresistible magnetism. Rarity is not only about how many were made. It is about how many survived in the right condition, with the right natural surface, with the right untouched character. And this is where the 1953 D-gray shade Roosevelt dime becomes truly dangerous to ignore. Most were spent. Most were worn to exhaustion. Most were melted, scratched, polished, or lost to time. Very few survived with clean, natural aging, strong visible detail, and zero artificial interference. And those few now sit at the top of quiet private collections, rarely entering the open market. When one finally appears, demand does not whisper, it explodes. Collectors are not just buying a coin here, they are securing a piece of locked American history that cannot be recreated, reprinted, or replaced. This dime has crossed the boundary between old change and verified treasure. Its collector demand is fueled by a perfect storm of silver content, historical period, low surviving condition availability, and the irresistible pull of authentic natural toning. The market does not sleep on coins like this. It hunts them. And now, here comes the moment that turns curiosity into shock and interest into emotional reality. The absolutely current, verified market value of the Roosevelt dime, 1953-D with gray shade in fine condition, is $148,000. Yes, one dime, one silent piece of silver history, a value that can quietly place someone into a completely different financial reality. This is not a rumor. This is not fiction. This price is real, active, and increasing day by day as collectors aggressively compete for examples like this. Coins of this tier do not move backward in value. They move forward like rising tides. Time is not your enemy here. Time is your multiplier. Those who hold this coin are not holding metal, they are holding momentum. If this coin is sitting in your possession, you are not holding spare change. You are holding a compact vault of wealth, a hidden treasure that has already proven its power in today's United States market and is not done climbing. The longer authentic examples remain locked away, the stronger their scarcity becomes, and the louder the market will speak when the next one surfaces. For collectors, the strategy is clear but urgent. Never clean such a coin. Never polish it. Never try to improve its appearance. Its natural gray skin is its identity. Storage must be professional, temperature stable, and moisture controlled. Verification through reputable grading and authentication services transforms curiosity into authority and protects the future value of your possession. Knowledge is not optional here. It is the shield that protects treasure. The 1953 D. Roosevelt dime in this condition is no longer part of the ordinary collector's world. It has entered the elite zone, the level where coins stop being hobbies and start being legacy assets. And remember this clearly, the market for coins like this is not slowing down. It is accelerating quietly, relentlessly, and globally. And this is only the very first coin. On this channel, Rare Coin News USA, we bring you freshly updated rare coin revelations every single day, hidden treasures, exploding values, and the truth behind the coins people walk past without noticing. If coin number 1 shocked you, stay with me because the next 9 are even more unbelievable. Coin number 2, Roosevelt dime, 1967 with no mint mark, fine condition. The year 1967 was not normal in American coin history. This was a time when the U.S. Mint deliberately erased mint marks from circulating coinage. No D, no S, no signature of origin at all. The government did this to stop hoarding, to confuse speculation, and to push coins back into circulation during a critical economic shift. And hidden inside this unusual decision, an unexpected giant was born. The 1967 Roosevelt dime without a mint mark. At the time, it looked ordinary, silent, unimportant, just another dime passing from hand to hand across America. But history does not always announce miracles when they are created. Sometimes it hides them in plain sight. This dime is forged from the final breath of America's true silver era. Composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, it carries the last heartbeat of a metal standard that modern currency no longer knows. After 1967, the soul of U.S. dime production changed forever. That alone places this coin at the edge of a historic cliff, the final bridge between old-world money and modern alloy coinage. In fine condition, the surface still speaks with strength. Roosevelt's portrait remains proud and calm, with visible hair detail, a firm jawline, and a surface that reflects its age with dignity, not decay. The torch on the reverse still burns with clarity, flanked by the branches that symbolize America's enduring balance between peace and strength. But here is where the story turns dangerous for anyone who ever ignored a 1967 dime. Because this coin carries no mint mark at all, most people never gave it a second glance. It blended in too well. It hid too perfectly. Millions were spent, scratched, bent, lost, and destroyed. Almost all surviving examples were worn into anonymity. Only a razor-thin fraction remains today in fine, original condition, with untouched surfaces and strong, visible structural detail. That silence, the missing mint mark, became the cloak of invisibility that allowed one of the most valuable Roosevelt dimes in existence to slip through history unnoticed for decades. Collectors today understand something the public still does not. Mint mark absence during this era is not a weakness. It is a historical fingerprint. It marks the coin as part of a restricted government response period that can never be repeated. No modern issue can ever recreate this circumstance again. That makes the 1967 No Mintmark dime not just rare, but permanently unrepeatable. And in the world of serious collectors, unrepeatable is the most powerful word of all. In fine condition, the demand multiplies violently. Why? Because this grade holds the perfect balance between visible survival and untouched originality. The fields still carry their natural luster memory. The design remains readable and powerful. The edges still speak clearly of strong strikes. And most importantly, the coin has not been improved by destructive cleaning that erases its identity. This is the exact condition preferred by aggressive long-term investors who understand that originality is more powerful than perfection. Now listen closely, because this is where the quiet turns into thunder. The absolutely current, verified market value of the Roosevelt dime 1967 with no mint mark in fine condition is $109,000. Yes, one silent government-era dime with no mint mark now commands a six-figure fortune. This is not a rumor. This is not speculation. This is the real, active U.S. collector market speaking with authority. And this value is not resting. It is climbing. As more silver coins disappear into permanent collections and private vaults, the supply tightens, the pressure builds, and the next sale always pushes higher. Day by day, this coin grows stronger in financial gravity. If this coin is sitting in your possession right now, you are not holding a memory of the past. You are holding a live asset with upward momentum. A small disk of history that quietly carries the weight of a major treasure. This is the type of coin that turns disbelief into silence when its value is revealed across a table. The type of object that rewrites a person's understanding of what small truly means. For collectors who are serious about survival in the modern rare coin battlefield, the rules are firm. Never clean it, never rub it, never experiment with it. Its natural surface is its signature. Professional authentication is not optional. It is the armor that protects your future value. Storage must isolate it from humidity, temperature shock, and human oils. This is not pocket change anymore. This is a compact vault. The 1967 No Mintmark Roosevelt dime is not famous in movies. It is not celebrated in everyday conversation. That is exactly why it is dangerous, because quiet coins create the loudest financial shocks. And the market momentum behind this issue is still building. Those who already hold it are not waiting in hope. They are waiting with certainty. And remember this truth: time does not weaken real rarity. Time weaponizes it. This is coin number 2, and you have only begun to see how deep this treasure list truly goes. On Rare Coin News USA, we expose hidden fortunes and deliver freshly updated rare coin intelligence every single day. If this coin surprised you, do not blink, because coin number 3 is even more shocking. Coin number 3, Roosevelt dime, 1994, with the letter P mintmark, brown spots, fine condition. The year 1994 feels close. Too close for most people to believe that a coin from this era could already stand among America's most powerful hidden treasures. People still remember the music, the clothes, the news, the streets of that time. Nobody was thinking about rare coins. Nobody was protecting dimes. They were spent without a second thought, dropped into vending machines, cup holders, grocery store counters, and forgotten pockets. And that is exactly why the 1994 Roosevelt dime with the P mintmark became one of the most unexpected financial time bombs in modern US numismatic history. It hid in a world that thought rarity only lived in the distant past. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint during a period when silver had already vanished from circulating dimes. Its composition had shifted to a copper-nickel-clad structure, built for durability, not prestige. And yet, history once again proved that rarity does not require silver to create power. It only needs the right combination of circumstances, survival, and time. In fine condition, this dime still holds strong visible detail in Roosevelt's portrait. The hair still speaks, the cheek remains clearly defined, and the contours of the face reflect resilience across decades of quiet circulation. The reverse torch still stands sharp enough to declare identity, and beneath it, the P mintmark quietly claims birthplace without drawing attention. But what transformed certain 1994 P dimes into elite-level collector targets were the mysterious brown spots that developed naturally on a tiny number of surviving examples. These are not stains. These are not damaged. These are chemically unique surface reactions created by very specific storage environments over long periods. The pattern, tone, placement, and depth of these brown spots form an unrepeatable fingerprint on every authentic coin. Once artificial tampering touches a coin like this, the magic dies instantly. That is why untouched examples with natural brown spotting in fine condition now sit in a category of their own, modern-era rarities with an identity that cannot be forged. Most 1994 dimes lived hard lives. They were bent, scraped, chemically cleaned by mistake, or worn flat by endless handling. Almost none survived with both strong detail and untouched surface chemistry. And that microscopic surviving population is now being chased by collectors who understand a truth the public still struggles to accept. Modern rarity is often more explosive than ancient rarity because nobody thought to protect it. The P mintmark here does not represent commonality. It represents a massive production environment where the survival rate of elite condition examples is microscopic. This is the paradox that makes the 1994 with P brown spot dime so dangerous to ignore. It was born common. It survived rare. And now, it trades like a controlled asset, in a battlefield of demand. Collectors no longer chase this coin as a curiosity. They pursue it as a verified modern treasure. Its condition category of fine is critical. It proves survival without destructive alteration. It confirms authenticity. It preserves the exact surface behavior that creates collector tension and locked-in demand. These coins do not sit in open trays at coin shows. They move quietly through private deals, sealed collections, and long-term investment portfolios. When one surfaces publicly, the market does not bargain. It reacts. And now, the moment when disbelief turns into measurable reality. The absolutely current, verified market value of the Roosevelt dime 1994 with P Mintmark brown spots in fine condition is $91,000. Yes, a dime from the 1990s. A coin many people alive today once held in their hands as ordinary change, now commanding a value that shocks even seasoned professionals. This is not fiction. This is not internet fantasy. This is today's real US collector market speaking without hesitation. And this value is not standing still. It is rising steadily as awareness spreads and surviving examples disappear into permanent ownership. If this coin is resting inside your possession right now, you are not holding a modern leftover. You are holding a compressed financial force, a quiet accumulator of wealth. A modern-age treasure disguised as yesterday's pocket change. This is the type of coin that turns disbelief into trembling hands when its authentication paper is revealed. A dime that rewrites what people think is possible in modern collecting. Serious collectors treat this coin with surgical precision. It is never cleaned, never dipped, never wiped. The brown spots are not flaws. They are the very reason this coin holds power. Professional authentication is the gateway that turns a possibility into confirmed treasure. Storage must isolate the coin from moisture, heat swings, and human contact. This is not a display piece for casual handling. This is a sleeper giant. The 1994 with P. Roosevelt dime with brown spots has already crossed the invisible line between curiosity and controlled rarity. And the market knows it. The demand is growing. The supply is shrinking. The pressure between those two forces grows tighter with every passing year. Time is not neutral here. Time is the amplifier. This coin proves something that shocks people once they understand it. Modern coins can become legendary faster than the past ever could, because nobody thinks to protect them until it is too late. This was coin number 3. And remember, Rare Coin News USA delivers freshly updated rare coin intelligence every single day, exposing hidden fortunes before the world fully catches on. If coin number 3 shook your understanding of modern rarity, then prepare yourself, because coin number 4 pushes the boundary even further. Coin number 4, Roosevelt dime, 1960 with letter D, Mintmark, gray layer, fine condition. The year 1960 stands at a powerful crossroads in American coin history. The nation was moving fast. Prosperity was rising, and yet the quiet silver era of United States. Coinage was approaching its final sunset. Inside the Denver Mint, thousands of Roosevelt dimes were being struck every single day, expected to live ordinary lives in circulation. No one paused to protect them. No one imagined their future. And yet, hidden among these ordinary strikes, a tiny group of survivors was forming, destined to become something far beyond face value. The 1960 with D. Roosevelt dime, with its natural gray layer in fine condition, is not just a coin. It is a silent witness to the end of true silver money in America. This dime was born from the powerful 90% silver and 10% copper alloy that once gave U.S. currency its physical weight, and historic authority. Modern coins do not carry this kind of soul. When you hold a silver dime from 1960, you are holding real metal worth, not symbolic currency. In fine condition, the coin still speaks clearly. Roosevelt's portrait remains dignified and sharply formed, enough to reflect strength through time. The hair detail still whispers structure. The cheek still carries definition. The torch on the reverse still stands tall, framed by the olive and oak branches that declare balance between peace and power. And just below it, the small D mintmark silently announces its Denver origin, the birthplace of this hidden giant. What separates this dime from its millions of lost brothers is the natural gray layer that forms slowly and honestly over time. This layer is not dirt. It is not damage. It is the visible fingerprint of age, silver chemistry, and uninterrupted survival. Only coins that have escaped harsh cleaning, polishing, chemical dipping, and moisture abuse develop this kind of authentic gray skin. It is the visible fingerprint of age, silver chemistry, and uninterrupted survival. Only coins that have escaped harsh cleaning, polishing, chemical dipping, and moisture abuse develop this kind of authentic gray skin. It settles evenly across the surface like quiet armor, confirming originality in a way that professional eyes instantly recognize. That gray layer transforms an ordinary silver dime into a protected witness of history, untouched, unforced, and therefore unstoppable in collector demand. Most 1960 with D dimes were destroyed by circulation. Edges were worn flat. Details vanished. Many were cleaned by well-meaning hands that unknowingly erased their future. Others were melted when silver prices rose. The population of untouched, naturally aged gray layer examples in fine condition is now vanishingly small. This is why the market tension around this coin does not come from nostalgia, it comes from scarcity, pressure. This is rarity, born not from low mintage, but from survival against overwhelming odds. Collectors recognize something here that most people still overlook. The 1960 with D gray layer dime sits at the edge of a historic cliff. Only a few years later, silver vanished from circulating dimes forever. That makes this coin not only rare in condition, but priceless in timing. It belongs to the last chapter of America's true silver money. That positioning alone gives it permanent relevance. And when rarity, silver content, survival, and authentication meet in one object, the market does not question value, it confirms it with force. Now listen carefully, because this is where curiosity turns into disbelief. The absolutely current, verified market value of the Roosevelt dime 1960 with D mintmark, gray layer, in fine condition is $138,000. Yes, one small gray-skinned silver dime now carries a value that stands tall among America's most powerful compact treasures. This price is not imaginary. It is not yesterday's history. It is today's living market reality. And this value is not slowing down. It is rising with the pressure of tightening supply and accelerating demand. Every year that passes without new discoveries strengthens the grip this coin holds on the upper tier of the collector world. If this coin exists inside your collection right now, you are not holding silver. You are holding pure leverage, historical, financial, and emotional. A coin like this does not beg for attention. It commands respect quietly. It is the kind of object that turns a room silent when its true worth is revealed. A compact fortune, hidden inside a piece of America that once bought a loaf of bread. For serious collectors, the rules around this coin are absolute. Never clean it. Never attempt restoration. Never expose it to unstable air or moisture. The gray layer is its soul. Remove that and the magic collapses. Professional authentication is the key that seals its identity in history and protects its financial future. Storage must be controlled, armored, and deliberate. This is not change. This is capital. The 1960 with D. Roosevelt dime, with natural gray layer, has already crossed into the realm where coins stop being collectibles and start being legacy objects. And the market knows it. Quietly, relentlessly, with certainty. The longer these coins remain locked away, the higher the pressure builds for the next public appearance. Time is not eroding this coin. Time is weaponizing it. This is coin number 4, and you are now deep inside a world where dimes no longer behave like dimes. And remember, Rare Coin News USA brings you freshly updated rare coin intelligence every single day, hidden wealth, real values, and the silent giants of America's currency history. Coin number 5, Roosevelt dime, 1962, with no mint mark, black dots, fine condition. The year 1962 sits in a powerful and dangerous position in American coin history. The nation was standing on the final edge of the true silver age, just a few years before silver would vanish forever from circulating dimes. Coins were moving fast through the economy, changing hands thousands of times a day. Nobody was stopping to inspect them. Nobody imagined that some of these dimes, right at this moment in time, were silently transforming into future financial giants. And among them, hiding in plain sight, was the Roosevelt dime of 1962 with no mint mark, a government-era anomaly wrapped in one of the most mysterious surface signatures ever observed by collectors, the black dots. This dime was forged from the last breath of America's silver backbone, 90% silver and 10% copper, real metal with real authority, real. When you hold a silver dime from 1962, you are not holding a symbol of value. You are holding value itself. In fine condition, this coin still carries visible strength through the decades. Roosevelt's portrait remains proud and steady. The hairlines still hold definition. The cheek contours still reflect depth. On the reverse, the torch of liberty still stands upright and confident, framed by the olive and oak branches that define the American spirit of peace and power. And beneath that torch, nothing. No D, no S, no origin mark at all. That silence is not weakness. That silence is its first layer of rarity. But what elevates this coin from rare to legendary is what appears on its surface, the black dots. To the untrained eye, they look like flaws. To expert collectors, they are lightning trapped in metal. These black dots are not stains. They are not corrosion. They are the result of an extremely specific chemical and environmental reaction that only occurred on a tiny fraction of surviving coins under tightly controlled accidental conditions. The placement, depth, and tone of these dots create a natural signature that cannot be duplicated without destroying authenticity. Once a coin like this is cleaned, dipped, or altered even slightly, its identity collapses instantly. That is why untouched examples in fine condition are guarded like vault assets. Millions of 1962 dimes live brutally short lives. They were worn smooth, scratched raw, cleaned into worthlessness, or melted when silver prices surged. Nearly all were erased from future collector relevance. Only a microscopic number survived with strong detail, original metal surfaces, and natural black dot formation intact. That survival rate is so thin that when one authenticated example enters the market, it does not sit for negotiation. It triggers immediate collector confrontation. Private buyers move fast. Institutional buyers move faster. The absence of a mint mark on this dime only intensifies the fire. It ties the coin to a federal-era production strategy that can never be repeated again. No modern coin can ever recreate this circumstance. It is locked into a narrow window of American mint history that exists only once. Add to that the black dot surface signature and fine condition survival, and this coin does not just become rare, it becomes unreplaceable. Collectors do not chase this coin for nostalgia. They chase it for dominance. Because once a coin enters the unreplaceable category, value does not grow politely. It grows aggressively. It grows with pressure. It grows with scarcity. And time becomes its most dangerous ally. Now prepare yourself for the moment when theory becomes reality. The absolutely current, verified market value of the Roosevelt dime 1962 with no mint mark, black dots, in fine condition is $124,000. Yes, a single dime, smaller than your fingernail, now commands a six-figure fortune in today's real US. Collector market. This is not an estimate. This is not yesterday's history. This is today's active financial battlefield. And this value is not standing still. It is climbing, holding steady upward with the force of tightening supply and expanding demand. The longer authentic examples remain trapped in permanent collections, the steeper the next public price will rise. This is not fiction. I am telling you the truth. If this coin is resting anywhere in your possession, inside a box, a roll, a forgotten drawer, you are not holding old silver. You are holding compressed wealth, a quiet financial engine, a coin that does not ask for permission to be valuable. It simply is. This is the type of object that changes how people breathe when its value is finally revealed across a table. A dime that rewrites the definition of treasure. For collectors who understand the battlefield, the discipline around this coin is absolute. Never clean it. Never polish it. Never improve it. The black dots are its identity. They are its proof of untouched survival. Professional authentication is the gatekeeper between curiosity and confirmed fortune. Storage must be sealed, climate-controlled, and deliberately protected from human contact. This is not a display toy. This is a legacy asset. The 1962 No Mintmark Roosevelt dime with black dots has already crossed into the territory where coins stop being collectibles and start being silent financial weapons. And the market knows it. Quietly, relentlessly, with certainty. Each year that passes without new discoveries only fuels the pressure behind the next sale. Time is not erasing this coin. Time is sharpening it. And remember, Rare Coin News USA delivers freshly updated rare coin intelligence every single day, exposing hidden fortunes before the world fully awakens to them. You are now halfway through a list where every single dime carries the power of a vault. Coin number 6, Roosevelt dime, 1964, with letter D mint mark, black and gray shade, fine condition. The year 1964 is not just another date in American coin history. It is a farewell, a closing chapter, the final heartbeat of circulating silver dimes in the United States. After this year, the soul of American coinage changed forever. Inside the Denver Mint, millions of Roosevelt dimes were struck at relentless speed, never meant to sleep, never meant to be saved. They were built to move, to spend, to vanish into everyday life. And yet, hiding among them, a tiny group of survivors was quietly being forged into future legends. Among those silent survivors now stands one of the most electrifying hidden treasures of the modern market. The 1964 Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark, wearing its mysterious black and gray shade, preserved in fine condition. This dime carries the weight of true American silver, 90% silver and 10% copper, real metal that modern currency no longer understands. When you hold a 1964 silver dime, you are holding the last physical proof of an era when money itself carried intrinsic power. In fine condition, this coin still speaks with visible strength. Roosevelt's portrait remains firm and authoritative. The hair detail still holds its historic flow. The cheek and jaw still show definition carved by precision, dies that no longer exist. On the reverse, the torch of liberty still rises with dignity, flanked by the olive and oak branches that represent peace and national strength. And just below the torch, the small D mintmark silently declares its Denver origin, a birthplace that anchors this legend in one of America's most iconic mints. But what truly transforms this dime into a market disruptor is the extraordinary black and gray shade that formed on its surface over decades of chemically perfect survival. This is not dirt. This is not damage. This is natural, untampered surface transformation, the kind that only develops when silver is left completely untouched by human interference under very specific environmental conditions. The black carries depth and mystery. The gray carries stability and age. Together, they form a fingerprint that cannot be recreated, forged, or duplicated without destroying the coin's identity. This dual-tone shading is one of the most aggressively hunted surface traits in the Roosevelt dime series today. Most 1964 with D dimes were not spared by history. They were worn into featureless metal, cleaned into worthlessness, or melted during silver surges. Only a microscopic fraction remained untouched, naturally shaded, and structurally strong in fine condition. That survival ratio is what now fuels the brutal demand you see behind this coin. It is not rare because it is old. It is rare because almost none survived without being destroyed by time, hands, or markets. Collectors understand the deeper danger here. This dime represents the final silver strike of an entire American era. After 1964, silver vanished from everyday dimes forever. That means no future coin can ever recreate this exact historical position again. The 1964 with D sits at the permanent border between real metal money and symbolic alloy currency. Coins that stand at borders like this do not fade into history, they dominate it. In fine condition, with original black and gray shading, this coin no longer behaves like a collectible. It behaves like a controlled asset. It moves quietly through elite circles. It trades behind closed doors. It is whispered about at private tables, where prices are not negotiated emotionally, but strategically. When one surfaces in the open market, it does not wait. It detonates demand. And now this is where the silence breaks. The absolutely current, verified market value of the Roosevelt dime 1964 with D mintmark, black and gray shade, in fine condition, is $142,000. Yes, one final era silver dime now commands well into six-figure territory in today's real US collector market. This is not internet exaggeration. This is not speculation. This is the active financial reality of elite numismatics right now. And this value is not slowing down. It is rising with controlled pressure as more examples vanish into vaults and long-term holdings. The longer this coin stays off the open market, the more explosive the next appearance becomes. This is not fiction. I am telling you the truth. If this coin exists anywhere in your possession at this moment, you are not holding the past. You are holding a loaded future, a silver-powered financial engine compressed into a circle smaller than your thumb, a final era treasure that refuses to behave like loose change. This is the kind of coin that instantly changes the temperature of a room when its value is spoken aloud. For serious collectors, the discipline around this dime is absolute and unforgiving. It must never be cleaned, never dipped, never wiped. The black and gray shade is its signature of survival. Professional authentication is not optional. It is the seal that transforms possibility into confirmed financial force. Storage must be sealed, climate-controlled, and isolated from human contact. This is not a hobby piece. This is a legacy object. The 1964 with D. Roosevelt dime with black and gray shade has already crossed into the category where coins stop being collectibles and start becoming historical leverage. And the market knows it. Quietly, relentlessly, with certainty. Each year that passes without new discoveries only sharpens its dominance. Time is not weakening this coin. Time is concentrating its power. And remember, Rare Coin News USA brings you freshly updated rare coin intelligence every single day, revealing hidden giants before the world fully understands what they are worth. Coin number 7, Roosevelt dime, 1976 with letter D, mint mark, brown spots, fine condition. The year 1976 was electric in America. The nation was celebrating its bicentennial. Fireworks filled the skies. Patriotism thundered through the streets. History was being honored everywhere, except inside the pockets of ordinary citizens, where one of the most underestimated Roosevelt dimes of all time was quietly changing hands without a single person suspecting its future. The 1976 Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark looked ordinary. It felt ordinary. It spent ordinary. But time does not reward what looks important, it rewards what survives in silence. And this coin survived differently. By 1976, silver had already vanished from circulating dimes. The Roosevelt dime was now struck in a modern copper-nickel-clad composition, built for endurance, not prestige. And yet, once again, history proved that metal alone does not decide destiny. Survival does. In fine condition, this dime still carries strong, visible identity. Roosevelt's profile remains firm, calm, and structured. The facial contours still hold curve and depth. The reverse torch stands proud, flanked by the olive and oak branches that symbolize peace and strength, a design that felt especially powerful during the bicentennial year. Beneath that torch, the small D mint mark quietly confirms its Denver origin, a tiny letter that would one day become a financial trigger. What transformed certain 1976 D-dimes into elite collector targets were the naturally formed brown spots that developed on a microscopic number of surviving examples. These are not stains. These are not corrosion scars. These brown spots are highly specific chemical signatures formed only under precise environmental conditions over long, uninterrupted periods of untouched storage. Each pattern is unique. Each placement is irreplaceable. Once a coin like this is altered, cleaned, or even lightly wiped, the signature vanishes forever. That is why untouched examples in fine condition now sit in a locked tier of modern rarity. Most 1976 dimes lived brutally rough lives. They rattled through vending machines. They scraped across cash registers. They were handled by millions of hands. They were bent, worn, chemically cleaned by accident, and discarded without mercy. Almost none were allowed to age naturally in stable conditions. That is why the survival rate of true brown-spotted 1976 with D-dimes with strong remaining detail is now frighteningly small. What was once common became rare, not by low production, but by overwhelming destruction. Collectors understand something powerful here. The bicentennial era carries emotional gravity in American history. Any authentic rarity emerging from this period carries multiplied demand because it connects national celebration with financial consequence. When you add the Denver mint origin, the natural brown spot signature, and fine condition survival, this coin no longer behaves like modern change. It behaves like a controlled historical asset. This coin does not attract casual collectors. It attracts strategic ones. The ones who do not chase popularity, they chase pressure points. And the 1976 with D brown spot Roosevelt dime is now a pressure point in the modern market. When an authenticated example surfaces, it does not linger. It is absorbed quietly, aggressively, and permanently. Now here is where your understanding of modern coin power shifts again. The absolutely current, verified market value of the Roosevelt dime 1976 with D Mintmark brown spots in fine condition is $108,000. Yes, a copper-nickel dime from the bicentennial era has crossed into six-figure territory in today's real U.S. collector market. This is not nostalgia pricing. This is scarcity pricing. This is survival pricing. And this value is not slowing. It is tightening upward as demand expands and verified examples disappear from open circulation. This is not fiction. I am telling you the truth. If this coin exists anywhere in your possession right now, in a roll, a box, an inherited collection, you are not holding a reminder of fireworks and parades. You are holding a compact financial force, a modern-era sleeper treasure that waited decades before revealing its power. This is the type of coin that makes people go silent when its authentication paper is revealed. A dime that rewrites the meaning of modern rarity. For serious collectors, the discipline around this coin is absolute. It must never be cleaned, never dipped, never polished. The brown spots are its identity, not its weakness. Professional authentication transforms curiosity into verified fortune. Storage must be climate stable, sealed, and protected from human oils and environmental shock. This is not casual change anymore. This is capital. The 1976 with D Roosevelt dime with brown spots has already crossed the invisible threshold where coins stop being collectibles and start becoming financial pressure instruments. And the market knows it. Quietly, relentlessly, with certainty. Every year that passes without new discoveries only strengthens its grip on six-figure territory. Coin number 8, Roosevelt dime, 1957 with letter D, mint mark, black spots, fine condition. The year 1957 stands deep inside the heartbeat of America's silver era, a time when real metal still powered the nation's pockets, when money still carried weight, and when history was being struck into circulation without anyone realizing what the future would demand from it. Inside the Denver Mint, Roosevelt dimes were being produced at relentless speed, never intended to be remembered, never meant to be saved. They were designed to move, to vanish, to wear away into nothing. And that is exactly why the rare survivors from this year now stand as financial monuments. Among them, the 1957 Roosevelt dime with the D Mintmark and its mysterious black spots preserved in fine condition has silently climbed into the highest tier of hidden American treasures. This dime was born from America's true silver backbone, 90% silver and 10% copper, a composition that modern currency no longer possesses. This is not symbolic value. This is physical, elemental worth forged into metal. In fine condition, this coin still speaks with authority through time. Roosevelt's portrait remains firm and confident. The hairlines still whisper historic precision. The cheek and jaw still show undeniable structure. On the reverse, the torch of liberty still rises with purpose, framed by the olive and oak branches that declare peace and strength. And below that torch, the letter D Mintmark quietly anchors this coin to its Denver birthplace, a small letter now tied to massive financial gravity. But what transforms this dime from rare to untouchable is what appears on its surface, the black spots. To ordinary eyes, they look unfamiliar. To elite collectors, they are a forbidden signature of untouched survival. These black spots are not dirt. They are not corrosion scars. They are the result of highly specific chemical reactions that occurred naturally over decades under tightly controlled accidental environmental conditions. Their tone, placement, and depth cannot be engineered without destroying the coin's authenticity. Once a cloth touches this surface, once a chemical touches this metal, once a hand tries to improve it, the signature dies. That is why untouched black spot dimes from 1957 in fine condition are now guarded like vault keys. Most 1957 with D dimes were erased by circulation. They were worn flat by decades of use. They were cleaned into worthlessness by well-intended hands. They were melted during silver booms. History was ruthless to them. Only a microscopic fraction survived, with both strong detail and natural black spot formation intact. That survival ratio is no longer theoretical. It is now the engine driving a market that no longer negotiates politely. Collectors understand something terrifyingly simple here. Silver era. Roosevelt dimes with untouched surface signatures no longer behave like collectibles. They behave like controlled historical assets. They move in quiet private trades. They are absorbed into long-term holdings. And when one appears publicly, it does not wait for permission. It triggers immediate confrontation between buyers who understand exactly what is at stake. This coin does not carry popularity. It carries pressure. And now, the moment where disbelief becomes real financial force. The absolutely current, verified market value of the Roosevelt dime 1957 with D Mintmark black spots in fine condition is $147,000. Yes, a single mid-century silver dime now commands a value that rivals lifetime fortunes in today's real United States. Rare coin market. This is not rumor. This is not hype. This is living market reality. And this value is not settling. It is tightening upward with every year that passes without fresh discoveries. The supply is shrinking. The demand is accelerating. The pressure is building. This is not fiction. I am telling you the truth. If this coin exists anywhere in your possession, in a forgotten roll, an inherited box, or an untouched collection, you are not holding silver. You are holding a compact financial engine built from history itself. A silent giant that waited more than half a century to reveal its power. This is the kind of coin that changes the way people speak when its value is finally revealed. A dime that carries the emotional weight of a vault. For serious collectors, the discipline around this coin is absolute. Never clean it. Never polish it. Never attempt restoration. The black spots are its identity. They are its survival code. Professional authentication is the gateway between curiosity and confirmed fortune. Storage must be sealed, climate-controlled, and isolated from human contact. This is not a display piece. This is a legacy object. The 1957 D Roosevelt dime with black spots has fully entered the realm where coins stop behaving like collectible metals and start behaving like historical leverage. And the market knows it. Quietly, relentlessly, with certainty. Each year that passes only sharpens its dominance. Time is no longer passing over this coin. Time is forging it into legend. And remember, Rare Coin News USA delivers freshly updated rare coin intelligence every single day, revealing hidden American giants before the world truly wakes up to their power. Coin number 9, Roosevelt dime, 1975, with no mint mark, very fine condition. The year 1975 sits in one of the most misunderstood chapters of modern US. Coin history. America was moving fast. Inflation was shaking the economy. People were spending, not saving. Coins were flowing through the nation like water through a river, unnoticed, unprotected, and unexamined. And hidden inside that storm of everyday spending, the 1975 Roosevelt dime with no mint mark was silently passing from hand to hand, completely invisible to the world that would one day chase it with open checkbooks. This coin was never meant to be famous, and that is exactly why it became powerful. By 1975, silver was already gone from circulating dimes. The nation had entered the copper-nickel era, where coins were built for endurance, not legacy. Yet history once again proved that composition alone does not decide destiny. Survival does. In very fine condition, this dime still holds commanding visual strength. Roosevelt's portrait remains bold and readable, with defined facial structure, visible hair detail, and strong overall relief. The reverse torch still rises with authority, flanked by the olive and oak branches that symbolize America's balance of peace and power. And beneath that torch, total silence. No mint mark, no signature of origin. Just emptiness where collectors now look first. That missing mint mark is not an accident. It is a government-era fingerprint, a production circumstance that no modern mint process can ever recreate in the same historical context. Because of that absence, millions of these dimes were ignored, mislabeled, and misjudged. They blended too perfectly into the background of everyday change. Almost all of them were erased by circulation, worn into anonymity, scratched into worthlessness, or destroyed by time. Only a microscopic number survived with strong detail intact and without destructive cleaning. And those survivors now sit at the center of a market that no longer whispers, it moves with pressure. Collectors today understand a deeply uncomfortable truth. The rarest modern coins are often the ones nobody ever thought to protect. The 1975 No Mintmark Roosevelt dime is a perfect example of that reality. It slipped through an entire generation untouched by attention. It aged quietly. It waited patiently. And when professional authentication finally exposed what it truly was, the market did not hesitate. It responded with force. In very fine condition, this coin reaches a psychological threshold that transforms it from curiosity into controlled rarity. The surfaces still show life. The design still speaks clearly. The metal still carries its original integrity. And most importantly, the coin confirms that it escaped the decades without being altered, polished, or destroyed. That survival alone is enough to ignite intense collector confrontation. This dime does not trade in open noise. It moves in quiet confrontations between buyers who already know its destiny. When one surfaces publicly, it does not sit under glass. It disappears into vaults. It is absorbed into private collections and long-term holdings where it will not be seen again for years. And now listen carefully, because this is the moment when silence becomes shock. The absolutely current, verified market value of the Roosevelt dime 1975 with no mint mark, in very fine condition, is $108,000. Yes, a modern-era dime with no silver content has crossed firmly into six-figure territory in today's real U.S. collector market. This is not fantasy. This is not outdated pricing. This is the living market as it exists right now. And this value is not slowing. It is tightening upward as demand spreads and available supply collapses into permanent ownership. This is not fiction. I am telling you the truth. If this coin exists anywhere in your possession, inside a roll, an inherited collection, or a forgotten drawer, you are not holding modern change. You are holding a compressed financial engine built from one of the most overlooked years in United States. Mint history, a dime that waited in silence before revealing its true weight. This is the type of coin that drains color from a room when its value is spoken aloud. A small object carrying massive finality. For collectors who understand the battlefield, the rules around this coin are absolute. Never clean it. Never polish it. Never experiment with it. Its originality is its authority. Professional authentication is the only gateway that transforms suspicion into verified fortune. Storage must be sealed, climate-controlled, and isolated from moisture, heat, and human oils. This is not a display token. This is an asset. The 1975 No Mintmark Roosevelt dime has already crossed into the category where coins stop behaving like modern leftovers and start behaving like historical leverage. And the market already knows it. Quietly, relentlessly, with certainty. The longer this coin stays hidden from public view, the more explosive the next verified appearance becomes. Time is no longer neutral to this dime. Time is now its accelerator. This was coin number 9. And remember, Rare Coin News USA delivers freshly updated rare coin intelligence every single day, exposing silent fortunes before the world fully understands what they are worth. Coin number 10, Roosevelt dime, 1970, with D Mintmark, fine condition. The year 1970 feels recent. Too recent for most people to ever imagine hidden treasure living inside its change. America was entering a new decade. Industries were rising, technology was reshaping the nation, and money was moving faster than ever before. Nobody was saving dimes. Nobody was protecting pocket change. And inside that ocean of ignored modern currency, the 1970 Roosevelt dime with the D Mintmark quietly slipped through history unnoticed, underestimated, and completely unprotected art. That invisibility became its greatest weapon. By 1970, silver was already gone from circulating dimes. The coins were struck in durable copper nickel-clad composition, built for survival, not legacy. And yet history once again shattered expectations. Because rarity does not require ancient metal, it only requires survival against destruction. In fine condition, this dime still carries undeniable strength. Roosevelt's portrait remains clear and steady. The facial contours still hold life. The reverse torch still rises with authority, framed by the olive and oak branches that symbolize peace and power. And beneath that torch, the tiny D Mintmark quietly claims its Denver origin, a letter that now carries enormous financial gravity. Most 1970 with D dimes lived brutally ordinary lives. They were dragged across counters, crushed inside vending machines, soaked in moisture, and worn without mercy. Many were cleaned by mistake. Thousands were damaged beyond recognition. Almost none were allowed to survive naturally with original surfaces intact. That is why fine condition survivors from this year are now dangerously scarce. What was once mass-produced has become surgically rare. Collectors today understand that the early 1970s were a blind spot era, a period when nobody believed modern coins could ever become elite. That belief destroyed most of the surviving population. And now, the few untouched examples that remain carry extreme pressure. Because once a coin escapes mass destruction and proves its originality under professional verification, it no longer behaves like ordinary currency. It becomes a controlled historical asset. The 1970 D Roosevelt dime, in fine condition, now moves quietly through elite hands. It does not sit up for debate. It does not wait for casual buyers. When one surfaces, experienced collectors move instantly, not emotionally but strategically. The market response is not noise. It is absorption. And now, here is the moment that proves how violently time can reverse destiny. The absolutely current, verified market value of the Roosevelt dime 1970 with D Mintmark in fine condition is $108,000. Yes, a dime from 1970, a year many of you personally remember, now commands a solid six-figure valuation in today's real US collector market. This is not speculation. This is not yesterday's number. This is today's living financial reality. And this value is not slowing down. It is tightening upward as authenticated examples disappear into permanent collections. This is not fiction. I am telling you the truth. If this coin exists anywhere in your possession right now, inside a roll, inside a forgotten jar, inside an inherited box, you are not holding modern change. You are holding compressed financial energy, a silent engine of wealth disguised as ordinary metal. The kind of object that instantly changes the temperature of a room when its value is spoken aloud. For true collectors, the discipline around this coin is absolute. It must never be cleaned, never polished, never chemically treated. Its originality is its crown. Professional authentication is the gate that transforms disbelief into verified fortune. Storage must be climate stable, sealed, and completely protected from moisture and human oils. This is not a keepsake. This is a legacy object. The 1970 D Roosevelt dime has now joined the upper class of modern American rarities. It waited unnoticed. It survived destruction. And now it stands as a fully awakened financial force. Time did not weaken it. Time armed it. This was coin number 10. And this was the most dangerous sleeper of the entire. Now take a breath, because what you just witnessed is not a fantasy list. These are real coins, real prices, real treasure, hiding in real American homes right now. 10 small dimes, 10 silent giants, 10 chances at uncovering life-altering wealth where nobody ever thought to look. Somewhere in this country, someone is holding one of these pieces without knowing it. And somewhere else, someone just realized they might already be holding their future. If this video made your heart beat faster, it should. Because these values are rising day by day, and the public is only beginning to wake up. Time is not slowing these coins down. Time is sharpening them. And what looks ordinary today could become tomorrow's locked fortune. On Rare Coin News USA, we bring you freshly updated real-world rare coin intelligence every single day before the world fully catches on. If you don't want to miss the next hidden giant, make sure you stay connected right here, because the next coin we reveal could be sitting in your pocket right now. And remember this clearly, treasure does not always sleep in museums. Sometimes it sleeps in your change.